Everyone, this is Chrissy, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to test the performance of a website locally without having to have it on the internet. So first thing you'll need to do is somehow install the website locally. I use an application called Local. It's free. You can download it. Just go to localwp.com, download it, install it, and then set it up. So I've already done that, and I'm going to open it so you can see this is what it looks like. Now I have mine connected to my Flywheel account. I'm using Flywheel for hosting for some of these sites, and you can connect it with that. There are other servers that you can connect it with, but it works great with Flywheel. Now, you don't have to connect it to a site on the internet. So these sites are all connected, but you can also create a local only site. So to do that, you're going to click on this plus button down here. This is to add a local site. And then you can select create a new site and continue, give the site a name. So this is going to be theme test Hello Elementor because I'm going to test the Hello Elementor theme, and then click continue. I usually just use preferred because it's going to have the specs that I need. Click continue and then give it a username and password and put your email address in there. All right. So I'm going to click on add site. That's going to set up the site. It takes a few seconds, maybe a few minutes, but it's going to provision all of the stuff that you need. You might have to enter your computer password in there. So do that. And it's going to set up your site locally. Now, again, this site is not going to be anywhere on the internet unless I push it to the internet. It's just going to be locally on my computer. So you may be wondering if you're going to do that, how are you going to test the theme? If you're used to using the PageSpeed Insights or the mobile friendly test on Google, then you might not be able to do that with this because the stuff is installed locally. So I'll show you how to get around that. All right, so I've got my stuff is set up. It's running. You can see I can stop the site if I wanted to, but I'm going to click here to open the site. And let me close some of these windows that I've got here. So this is what the website looks like now. If I go back into local, I can also open the WordPress admin, log in with the account you set up. There should be the only account on there. And we'll see this is the dashboard. Let me not save the password. All right, so I'm going to test Hello Elementor. That's why this is theme test Hello Elementor. So I need to go to appearance and then themes, and I'm going to add new, and I'm going to add Hello Elementor. So I'm going to click on install, and that's going to take a few seconds. And then in order to run it, you need to activate it. So I'll click on activate. And Hello Elementor is it's a lightweight theme built for using Elementor. So I need to actually install Elementor, which is a plugin. So up here, it's going to prompt me to install Elementor. So I'll do that. And that should be pretty quick. Downloads everything, installs it on my computer. And now I need to activate that plugin as well. Now, when I do that, the first time you do that on a site, it's going to walk you through getting everything set up. So if you have an Elementor account, you can connect to it. If you don't have an account, you can create one. You do need to, in order to do the SiteKit installation that I'm going to do a little bit later, you do need to connect it to an account. So I would set that up. I'm going to just skip right now and let it connect later. You can give it a name if you want to. I'm just going to leave mine as theme test Hello Elementor. Click skip. If you have a logo, you can upload that. You can drop that in there. I'm going to skip that for now. And then I'm going to browse from over 100 templates or import your own. So I'm going to click on that. And that's going to take me into their kit library. Now, I'm going to install a free kit. So even though I have a premium account or a pro account with Elementor, I'm going to install free because I'm just going to assume that you're using the free Elementor. So you can just choose under kits by plan, you can sort by free. And I'm going to install this bread bakery. This is just for a demo. And I'll click on apply kit up here in the top right corner and get started. It may ask you to do a few things. So now it's going to ask me to connect to my account. So I'll do that. So let's connect it. And I need to apply all. This is going to apply all the content and everything. Sometimes you'll get some messages where you need to enable things. If you get an error message about not being able to upload, you might need to check with your hosting provider to get around that. But I'm just going to click on enable, and it's going to take a few seconds, a few minutes maybe to install the kit on your website. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go back into local. and just show you real quick a few things. You can change the PHP version. I do recommend at some point testing PHP 8 on your website. That's the new version of PHP 7.4, 7.4.1 or 7.4.1 is no longer going to be supported. I think it's after November or December of this year. So you're going to want to upgrade eventually. So let's see if this is installed. Oh, yep. Okay. So the kit is now live on my site. So over here, I'm going to click on close and it's going to take me back to my dashboard. So I'm going to refresh the site and you can see it takes a second. There is Hello Elementor on my site. Now I'm going to stay on this front end of the site. All right. Actually, I'm going to copy this and I like to do this when I can in a private or an incognito window. So that way it doesn't have any, it's not going to check the performance based on me being logged in. When you're logged into a site, if it's on a server, a lot of times there's no caching or anything. You have extra code because of this admin bar at the top. So I'm going to open up an incognito window and test it in there. So I should still be able to access it in the incognito window, and there it is. All right, now to do this, you're going to go, I'm in Chrome. That's really important. You need to be in Chrome, and you can either go to View, Developer Tools, or you can see here I've got this little Lighthouse, but either way, I'm going to open up Lighthouse. So I'm going to go to View, Developer Tools, and I'm going to click on Lighthouse in the tabs up here. There's Elements, Console, Sources, and Network, and you can see there is Lighthouse. All right. So Lighthouse is a tool built by Google, and it basically does everything that you would see in the PageSpeed Insights tool on the internet. So if you're going to pagespeed.web.dev and you're testing things there, you could just do it in here. It does require installing Chrome, and it may require installing the Lighthouse add-on. I'm not sure because I've got it already installed, but if you don't see the Lighthouse add-on there, you might need to install it. So you might need to Google how to do that. All right, so now you can see I can generate a Lighthouse report. I'm going to choose mobile for the device because I like to test mobile and desktop. I usually test mobile first. And you can choose what you are going to test. So I'm going to test performance, accessibility, best practices, SEO, and progressive web app. This is not a progressive web app, so I'm going to get like nothing for that, but it's going to test it anyway. All right. So now that I've got all those things set, I'm going to click on Analyze Page Load. And it's going to jump over to a preview of the site in mobile. So it's going to show you the preview of the site. This is a Moto 4G, and it's going to show me what it looks like on there. And I can scroll through it. No, doesn't always like to do it. And we can see here that for performance, I get a 73. It tells me not to audit the page in incognito. It tells me to audit the page in incognito mode. So that's okay. I did that. But you can see the performance is 73, accessibility is 95, best practice is 92, SEO is 93, and the progressive web app doesn't have anything because it's not a progressive web app. So if we look down here at the performance, I can see if there are any issues. So if I scroll down a little bit, time to interactive is 3.4 seconds. That's not horrible, but it is a little bit long. If I keep scrolling down, it's going to show me some screenshots of the progression of loading. And now we can see any opportunities that I might have. So eliminate render blocking resources. That's basically getting the CSS to load later if possible. There are plugins that can help with that. Serving images in next-gen formats. You can see I can speed things up with that. So if I load them as WebP instead of JPEG or PNG, that's going to help me with some. And then reduce the initial server response time. This is going to be your hosting provider, or in my case, it's my local computer. So it might take a little while on my local computer. All right, so I've tested on mobile, and my performance, which is really to me the most important score, is the performance. And that's not very good. 73 is not great. Let me see if there's anything else. I'm just going to scroll down. Accessibility looks good. Best practices, that's a problem, but I'm on my local computer, so it's not going to use HTTPS. Looks good for SEO, and it's not progressive web app, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here. I've got my mobile test. And again, performance is 73. I usually like my minimum for mobile to be at least an 80, and this is below that. So with that in mind, I probably would not use this theme. But I want to see how it does on desktop. So I'm going to click this plus button right here, and I'm going to choose desktop this time, use the same settings, and click on Analyze Page Load. And again, it's going to take a few minutes. It's going to go through and check everything that it did, but it's checking it from a desktop browser for this. So it's going to go through and make sure that it loads quickly. And we can see here the performance is much higher, 95. Accessibility is 95, 92, 92. So this is much better. If I scroll down and take a look, I can see that some of the issues that were in there for mobile are not there for the desktop version. Now, I don't usually test it only once because sometimes there are issues like it's not cached or something's going on. So I usually like to test it at least a couple of times. So I will go through and test mobile again. And let's see if I get a better score this time. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But it's good to test it at least a couple of times. I'm a scientist. I have a degree in zoology, so I go back to my science days, and you never test just once. You want to test, well, you want to test a few times, but I'm only going to do 2. And you can see here the performance actually went down to 71. So that's not great. Okay, so with this in mind, I would probably not use this theme, or at least not this starter kit. And I will tell you, most likely, if I close, let me close this. So just remember my tests were 71 for mobile or 73. I'll give it the 73 for mobile and 95 for desktop. So I need to document those. I'm going to close Lighthouse. You can just click on that X there. And I'm going to reload this because I want to show you what's probably that animation there. And some of these animations are probably part of what's making this performance a little bit slower on desktop or on mobile. Sometimes those animations can slow things down a bit. So I usually recommend, if you're able to, turn off animations on the mobile version. So anyway, if I wanted to test another site, so I would go back to my local installation. And so I've got my theme test Hello Elementor. I'm going to stop that. So I'll click on stop all. That's going to stop that site. I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to create a new site. And this one is going to be theme test. If I can type it correctly. And the next one is going to be cadence. Oops, I'm having a hard time spelling today. So cadence. And then again, I'm going to continue. I'll use the defaults. Put my name in here, my email, and I'm going to add the site. So this is how I go through and I can test multiple themes without having to install them on my computer or on my website on the internet. Just you can test them this way. The other thing that this allows me to do is test the installation of the theme and see how easy it is to install, which is something else that I like to check for when I choose a theme. All right, so we're going to open the WP admin. Let me close these other 2 real quick and log in. All right, let me get logged in there. And I don't want to save my passwords right now. Let me go to Appearance, Themes, Add New, and I'm going to install Cadence this time. So let me install. And we're going to activate when it's ready. So it's installed. I'm going to activate it. So notice no other themes are installed. And this one, again, it gives me a prompt to install Cadence Starter Template. So I'll click on that. And this will take a minute. All right, so I need free. So under here where it says free and pro, I'm going to choose free only. And I'm just going to install this cleaning service one. So I'll just click on that. And I'm just going to go through the options. I'm just going to choose the defaults. Skip. So let's see if it installs it. Again, this can take a few minutes because it's copying the zip files, the images, all the content, everything from their server, and it's installing it on this local installation on my computer. So let's see what it does. So while it's doing that, I'm actually going to copy the URL up here. And let's see what it looks like. Oh, okay, it's still using the default, but I'm going to open it in a incognito window again, so it's not doing all of that extra stuff. And let's see if it's installed yet. Nope, it takes a few minutes. So I can't fast forward because I'm doing this live. Sorry. All right, so now it's ready. Let me go back into that other page and refresh. And this is what it looks like. Looks great. Very nice. All right, so again, I'm going to go, you can either go to View, Developer, Developer Tools, and then choose Lighthouse, or you can see here, I've got the Lighthouse extension. So let me click on that and generate report. So this is a little bit different. It's going to be the Lighthouse report viewer. This is a Chrome extension for Lighthouse, and it's going to open it. You can see it's opening it, not in the incognito window. So I'll come back to that in a minute. So let's go back here. I'm going to just do it the other way. So we're going to go to View, Developer, Developer Tools, and we've got Lighthouse. I'm going to choose Mobile, Analyze Page Load. So if we remember, Hello Elementor was 73 for mobile and 95 for desktop. Let's see what Cadence gives us and see if it's faster. And what do we get? Oh, that's a little bit better, 87. So remember, my minimum was 87. My minimum was 80. My preference for mobile is 80. Accessibility is 94. You can see the best practices in SEO were a little bit lower, so it's up to you. I'm usually more concerned with performance because I can fix the other things if I need to. So we're going to say, okay, 87 for Cadence. Again, if you wanted to, you can test this a couple of times. Let's see what I get for desktop. So we're going to analyze the page load for that. And it just takes a few minutes or a few seconds. Let's see what we get. It's loading. And we've got 99. These are, again, best practices SEO. Let me see what the report is for that. I'm just curious. So best practices. Well, that we can't really fix anything. And serve images with, okay, SEO, no meta description. Again, not a problem. These aren't actually issues. I can fix that by installing Yoast SEO or Rank Math and adding the meta description. And links are not crawlable. Well, they're not going to be crawlable because they're installed on my computer, so you're not going to be able to crawl them. So those are things I can fix. But the 99 is super, super helpful. So I would go through, and any themes that you're interested in, I would go through and install them all locally, pick out which ones perform the best, and just kind of go from there. So I hope you found this useful, and I will see you in the next video.